earned some of the night vision devices or sleeping bags, something like that. This CD contained the frontline songs, those songs which the soldiers back there in the 80 zone used to sing or they used to listen to. And I actually downloaded the music from YouTube. And those CDs, they were not the ordinary music. There was a song, which expresses the thoughts of the soldiers in the text. When you listen to those, it gives you some creeps. As if you yourself are in the front line. So we actually showed that CD. We would drink some vodka and some money. We send some sleeping bags. There. There is such a person, NATO, is Yuri Roslik, which actually makes the patriotic posters, and I also wish to manufacture the pens with the slogan "NATO." And I sold such pens when maybe were too expensive, and I presented that Euro Slick on Saturday. He was very happy to have it. We had the pen with the logotype, the inscription "Heroes of 82 Heroes," but it contained also his logotype. I work with Kirill Bagardim and team in France. There are three of us, but we are doing everything together. And we try to do that by joining our efforts. Now, this kind of France-Ukraine solidarity in the days, and Kirill was here in July, and he talked to some people here. He actually brought here some toys, some clothes for the people of Donbass area and the children, orphans who lost their fathers in the ATO operation. We do not live together in France, but we work together. We have something like a pyramid. Now, Benoit and Kirill, they decided to manufacture some kind of jackets with the inscriptions Ukrainian army and Cossacks, and the t-shirts, I mean, not the vests, not the jackets. And the people, actually, it's very popular with the people. It enjoys already demand in our country. So that's what we are doing to help ATO. But we are not limit ourselves to financial matters only. For 18 months already, I correspond with the soldiers there. I don't know who. They write to me in Ukrainian. I do not know Ukraine, but I try to answer them in the Russian, in Russian language, and I try to do that every morning and every evening in the afternoon, and so every day I do that. And even if they do not receive my letters for 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks' time they will receive all those letters, and they will be happy to receive some letters from me. And also slowly, I do love Ukraine, definitely. That's the reason I'm doing that. I would like to live here and work with Ukrainian people, but the matter is that the warfare, the war, and is such an, if you're talking about Putin, he is such a mean and nasty person, and he, how do I put it? We have an opportunity and chance to establish the friendly relations with Ukrainians. Those chances we didn't have before. Actually, I was corresponding with one of the special forces soldier in the ATO zone, and I went to meet him in summer. Last summer, I wanted to get acquainted with him. We actually established very good relationship with him and his family, and it so happened that I'm the godmother of his daughter. So I stayed in Lutsk, and I showed that family like my family now. And what we are going to do, we are going to provide assistance to a battalion or a brigade. And this way, we do not listen to the politicians, because in France, they sometimes say that this specific battalion is not a good one. It's full of extremists or wherever else. But when the soldiers and do something for their country, for Ukraine, we want to help them. We helped Aidar, we helped the Azov. And I remember that some people from Azov wrote to me that they had nothing to eat, and I was shocked. I couldn't imagine that in France that they could not eat, or they did not have anything to eat. So we managed to deliver to them some of the food products, and it was difficult because it's impossible to do that through the mail service. For example, if I come to Ukraine, to through the Ukrainian the bus service company, and we have to pay for each kilogram. If we are talking about the private person, it's two and a half euros per kilogram. When we say that we are going to do that for ATO operation, they give us discount, and it costs us 1.5 euros. But again, if you're talking about the routes, they go to Lyon, or to the south of the France. We cannot deliver too bigger, let's say, a cargo, the 2 million kilograms, and we use the new mail, by post or by passenger vehicle. So what can we do, and what we would like to do? Sometimes to help a specific person, single person, who faces some problem, not only for the brigade or battalion. We actually try to help one of these former cyborgs. He needed a very serious operation. There was a kind of hernia of his bone of his, and we had decided to help him because he is a former soldier, and to undergo this operation. And we do not take into consideration political issues, whether this is a good or bad battalion. We would like to help the soldiers in order to liberate France, to make Ukraine an independent country. And we are going to go all the way till the end, as Ukrainians say, as the sun, we love it as the sun loves us. Thank you. If should there be any questions, please introduce yourselves.
Bogdana Kostyuk, Liberty Radio station. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And now a question from a volunteer. How much does this disc cost in France? And how many sleeping bags did you collect? The first disc contained 35 songs, and we had to choose MP3 format, and I sold each disc for 20 euros, and gave out of that 20 euros for each disc. I gave to 8 ATO, and actually I had no income from that discs. I just paid for CDs. In France, sleeping bags are very expensive, around 92 euro. So we decided to shift to Ukrainian sleeping bags, which cost only 32 euros. Of course, of course, we did not sell a huge number of discs. In France, you cannot sell 200 discs. You have to sell just a small amount of them and then shift to something else. For example, in France, I made a photo calendar for the ongoing year, and I made photo collages, and on those pictures which showed soldiers and animals like cats and dogs, cats and dogs, but on those pictures you could not see the faces of the soldiers except one who confirmed that he did not object. Another example, 3 weeks ago we received a letter from one of the cybers from brigade number 79, and they requested us to provide us a saw, and we were very much surprised. Why do you need a saw? And they responded, we need to cut timber for heating, and instead of one sleeping bag we bought a saw, and we tried to respond very quickly to their requests when they have some very specific needs. When we have individual requests about healthcare needs of some individual soldiers, we always are able to respond very quickly. In France, if you have a prescription from a physician, you can get medicine in a pharmacy free of charge, and we organized this and got some medicines free and supplied them to the ATO area. I'm Christina from UCMC. Thank you for all your volunteering assistance. I'm very much interested to know why you are interested in doing this, because France is far away from Ukraine. You have so many probably problems in France. Why you in France and why your friends? I have my private history. My mother and my grandfather during the Second World War, he was a prisoner of war in Germany for 5 years, and it was the Russian troops who the Soviet troops who liberated him, and the soldiers who liberated him personally. And they said at that time, we are not Russians, we are Ukrainians. My grandfather was very much surprised. And my grandfather always said to me that he was liberated by Ukrainians, not Russians. And my mother always told me this. And when in 1990s Ukraine became independent, I decided to visit this country, and I came to Ukraine, and I found that there was nothing to eat, there were no comfort, but people had a lot of spirit, a lot of heart, a lot of energy, and then I met a friend who became father of my daughter. He was half Ukrainian. And the motivation of my friends is as following. They believe that Ukraine is the last forepost standing for Europe, because Ukraine is the last country, the most eastern country in Europe before Asia, and we should support Ukraine. We should understand that those soldiers, they in the East, they give their lives for us, and we explain these things. We explain our position to our friends around us, and the French start to understand who Putin is and what are his ideas and what Ukraine is standing for. That Ukraine is standing against Putin. Okay, I would like to ask one more question. Ingrid, how do you think is your activity in Ukraine welcomed by your neighbors, by your friends in France, and how much the attitude to you changed during the last year? I lost many friends, many my old friends in France, and now I have new friends. Of course, my very close relatives, my fellow, understand that I'm very much related to Ukraine. I'm very close to Ukraine because my daughter is half Ukrainian, but they cannot understand why I'm so much involved. When I assist Ukraine, I'm not thinking I never request something in exchange, but actually I feel that I receive a lot in exchange of my support here. For example, when I have when I have a problem in France, people from here are ready to support me. I lost many friends in France, but I found many new friends in France, and I found really good friends here. Thank you very much for what you are doing, and we will finish our briefing now, and our next briefing will be at noon. I would like to explain one more detail. My daughter is a violinist. She's half Ukrainian, as and a month ago she organized a chamber ensemble for violinists and called it